Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you our latest install, and I'm going to go through some of the features, of the UCE. This is an etch line that we installed over the weekend, and I'm going to go through some of the things that I think are important. So later on, I'm going to pull this out, and I could show you the vacuum etch technology that's in here. But there's a lot of other stuff on the machine that I'd like to make note of. The first thing is all the plumbing underneath the machine. So you can see the machine is lifted up a little bit. So all the plumbing is factory installed underneath the whole machine. So it's really quite neat and clean looking. And we have a tray that you can clean up underneath if you have to, and so forth. So that's just the way UCE does it, and I think it's a great way to do all the plumbing. And again, this is all done at the factory. So when you really get the machine and most of the plumbing's done, we have 3 simple hookups for the system. And if we go to the back of the machine, you can see that this is the incoming water supply here. One hookup will supply the whole machine with water. We have a great water meter that's hooked up, so you can look at the usage of water every day, or once a week, or once a month. So it calculates all the water usage on the machine. All the rinses and so forth are 100% filtered, for keep nozzles clean and so forth. This is a really nice feature too. Most of the chambers have this fill set up. So what you do is basically turn on the water, and you could fill each of the modules with water for clean out and so forth, which is really nice and less messy. And every module has a holder, for all the glass covers, so there's a place to put them, so you're not putting them on the floor and breaking them and so forth. And we seal those up. This supply here is your cooling water. So you got one hookup for cooling, one hookup for water, one hookup for air, and you're all basically that's it. But you can see all the filtering systems, throughout the machine. Everything's clearly marked. It comes with a really nice overhead, raceway for all the wiring that goes back to the control cabinet, which is really nice. It looks really neat and clean. This is our thin laminate capability conveyor system that we put on this. So this is really interesting. The machine does, this particular machine does thin material, but also does a thick material, up to 400 thousandths. 400 thousandths thick. And what happens is, what this does right here is a lifting kit, so that when you're doing thick panels, you can actually lift up the vacuum etch technology so that you can get thicker boards through there, and then when you're done with it and you want to go to the thinner material, you lower it back down again, which is pretty clever setup. There's the demister up there. There's the exhaust. We only have one hookup for the exhaust that's required. So the hookups for this machine are pretty easy to do, and you don't have plumbing coming down from your ceiling all over the place like most wet process lines, which is kind of nice. So this is the main chamber, of the etch, and there's a couple things here that is really nice. So this pump actually works when the machine is in standby. What this does is recirculate the chemicals in the machine. You want to shut down for the weekend, you put the machine on standby This will keep the chemistry moving. Of course, all the heat and everything else is off, but we're moving chemistry around in the chamber. It's got an automatic exhaust, so we set that up so that you're exhausting just a little bit of exhaust out of the chamber. This is the vacuum etch pump that actually works on a Venturi system, so it's not an actual vacuum per se hooked up to the machine. We're doing this with a Venturi. And then of course there's the 100% filtration as well on the main etch. So we have a couple safeguards for clogged nozzles on this machine. Number one is the 100% filtration, but also before the spray bar, there's also a screen inside the main chamber on each of the spray bars that also prevent particles from getting up into the nozzle area and clogging those up. But it's quite simple. We're going to show you how to pull that out later. This whole system comes out very easily, and the same with all the other modules. Everything comes out quite quickly. And this is a little storage area for your nozzles. Should you have any clogged nozzles, you have your supply right there. The machine has all kinds of little helpful tools attached to them. You know, this is for the spray bars and this is for the nozzle removal. So you put those back there, and the same in the back of the machine. There's some tools to take off the filters and so forth, so that you'll find little gadgets on the system which are pretty clever and come with the machine. This is called a space saver cabinet. So it sits on top of the machine like that, so you don't have a separate control cabinet against the wall somewhere, you know, 20 or 30 feet away. Everything is here. You know, we got the main power coming in under the ceiling and right into there. Machine also comes with, you know, a transformer, which is really nice. It gives you all the input and output voltages and so forth. It's not just like a standard transformer. It's got meters on it and all that. So there's the voltage that we're supplying the machine here. So the machine comes with that, and again, it comes with all the plumbing underneath. It's got all kinds of little features. We could shut off the cooling coil on the machine and bypass it, so if we do have a cooling issue or with the cooling coil, it could be easily taken out without you know, disconnecting any of the existing plumbing. Very simple solution to do maintenance or whatever it is that you have to do. Water saver devices on the machine all throughout to save water. The other thing that is really important on UCE machines is the components that are used in the system. I can open up the cabinet. Everything is Japanese, which most of it is you know, Mitsubishi Plc, Mitsubishi inverters, and all the contactors are Schneider Control, which you could buy in the US. So what I'm trying to show you is some components that they spend money on. They're not the typical Chinese cheap components on this machine. They're very reliable, mostly European or Japanese on this whole machine. And you'll also note, I'm going to bring you over to the back again, that these are all European AB motors, very reliable. And UCE buys these motors from Europe, obviously, ships them into the factory, and then they do some retrofits on these motors as well. They completely take them apart. They mount their own housing system. So UCE in-house capabilities are, all their parts on this machine are molded in the factory. There's very few parts that are done outside the factory. So they have a complete molding factory that handles all the intricate little parts here that you see on the machine, as well as the European motors, which makes this machine very, very reliable. We very seldom do we have problems with motors or contactors or anything like that. The PLC is very simple to operate. I'm going to show you that when we fire up the machine, and it's very simple on how that all works. So this is the setup of this machine in particular. So in brief, these are some of the great things on this machine, and this is why we chose UCE to sell in the United States, because it is the best of the best coming out of China. They don't skimp on anything, and all of this is pretty much option free. Every machine comes with all these things that you see, which are not options. They're just standard part of the machine. So you get one price for everything. And you can see the demister up there with the cooling lines coming through. But I love the plumbing setup on this machine. It's really an easy install. You know, there's all your main lines coming in. Your cooling lines are over there. Your rinse waters are here. Your incoming water, your drainage, everything is set up. And we could drain, I mean, we could set up a plumbing setup for anybody's needs that they may have. We could put all the services on this end of the machine. We could put all the services on the middle side of the machine, or we could put all the services on the back side of the machine, so you'd only have 3 lines coming down or underneath the machine, whichever you prefer. So we could specify that, and the factory will plumb it as we need it. So again, you can see all the controls up here. And you can see that these are, you know, that's the gravity controller with UCE's logo on it. That is really an Armatron controller. Same with the heater controls. Most of these parts I can get locally, actually. And here again is your clean out water. Once, you know, if you want to clean out the machine, you can fill it up with water very easily. This is really nice. It's a sampling port that's very easily accessible, and all the modules have, wherever there's chemistry, we have sampling ports. Comes with a wash down hose in the back that you could turn on and clean whatever you need to clean. Should you have a spill putting chemistry in, you could just wash it out very simply that way. But all the gauges throughout the whole machine. That's the back side of it. And here's another overview of the machine. So a little bit later, I'm gonna have the machine up and running, and we're gonna show you the PLC, and we'll show you the vacuum etch technology. So here's our PLC control system. I just turned on the machine. And there's the whole system. I can basically, this is your home button, goes through all your functions, your preheat, debugging, pressure, whatever you want to set up on this. Go to the main menu. Here's everything we turn on and so forth. The dosing system, etching dosing, etch light, conveyor input. So you could actually set this machine up, you know, to come on at say 6 o'clock in the morning, and the machine will heat up on its own and be ready for you know, etching at 8 o'clock or so forth. So you could set that all up, you know, in that standby mode setup, which is really nice, and it works really well. And again, you know, some of these pumps, the chemical chamber pumps, will come on when you're in that standby mode to keep the chemistry moving, so you don't get a lot of crystallization with the etch and some of the other chemicals we're using in the machine. But the very simple menu. That's really all there is to it. There's nothing else to go through. We can go in maintenance mode, and we can come up with any troubleshooting that needs to be done and so forth. You can run the machine in manual mode. We can run it in automatic load, start stop. There's the alarm system. If there's a problem, obviously the whole thing's in English, so it's quite easy. So in a short period of time, we're going to be loading up. We have most of the solution in the machine, etching. Machine's going to be loaded up with chemistry. And then I'm going to show you what the difference is. We're going to run etch without vacuum etch, and then we're going to run it with vacuum etch. And you're going to see the difference between the panels on how this machine performs. It's really a nice, well-built machine. I've been selling wet process equipment for 35 years, and by far this UCE equipment is by far the best I've seen. It really stands up to the harsh environments that we put these machines through. It's definitely be the last piece of wet process equipment you'll buy and put in your shop for sure. So I'm going to shut this off for now, and we're going to start filling the machine and so forth. Then we're going to show you some still panels, vacuum technology a little bit later. Okay, so here is the vacuum etch manifolds here on the top. You can see where they all are. What's unique about this system here is for thicker panels, what we have is a lift kit that's located here on all four corners of the main chamber. So when you're doing thicker panels, what it will do is lift up a few hundred thousands to get, so your thicker panels will go through very easily. And then of course when you're doing thinner material, you just lower it. That's a manual operation up on the PLC LED lighting, so you can see in here. Also, you notice that the bath is circulating, so when the machine goes in standby mode, the pump in the back is just for recirculating the solution. And when you go on standby, that will come on for maybe 4 minutes every half hour or so, and that's programmable as well. So we're going to show you how to take this out. It's pretty easy. If you ever have to get in here to clean nozzles or check spray bars or anything like that, I'll show you how quick this is. We undo these, and both the top and the bottom operate the same way, and they both come out the same way. And you'll notice, I'll just point this out, you'll notice the little filter systems here to keep the spray bars clean from debris. So I showed you the 100% filtration in the back of the machine, but we also have these little filters in the front also, so that you should really never get any clogged nozzles at all. So here comes the hose spray system. We mount these here. Now you have access to everything you need. Replace the nozzles. They're quick change nozzles very easily. And believe it or not, we even have a tool for that. So here's the tool we use to replace the nozzles if you need to.
And then there's a drawer for your full nozzles.
Yep. And again, if you need a nozzle, it's in the storehouse right there for you. So your operator doesn't have to go into the kit room and beg for nozzles, because they'll be right here on the machine. So that kind of gives you a good idea on the vacuum etch, how it works. It works on a Venturi system in the back of the machine. So it's all self-contained. It's not like a real vacuum. We're working off a Venturi system here. And that's the pump that handles that. So that's a good overview, and now we'll just put the whole manifold system back in. More. There you go. Anyway, so that explains the vacuum etch. So hopefully in the next couple days, I'll show you a panel that's vacuum etched and non-vacuum etched, and you can see the difference in the etching of the machine. We'll show that a little bit later.